If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Philadelphia is brought to you by...
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense Show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense Show. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. I want to wish everybody a happy New Year's. I know I'm a little late on it. I hate cold weather. I hate cold weather. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded it to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch the broadcast, just go to shrmedia.com. You can also go to YouTube and Facebook. Oh, God, I'm already having brain farts and the show's just starting. It's going to be one of those shows, I can tell you right now. Oh, man. Let's see. There's a story that just popped up that I didn't have time to add, so bear with me. I found this very, very interesting. This comes from The Hill. The Hill. If this tells you anything, okay? It comes from The Hill. Ex-FBI Director James Comey's original statement closing out the probe into Hillary Clinton's use of private email server was edited by subordinates to remove 5 separate references to terms like grossly negligent and to delete mentions of evidence supporting felony and misdemeanor violations, according to copies of the full documents. Now, I know this has kind of been in the news lately. Yeah. There was just some stuff that caught my eye as I was going through this. Comey also originally concluded that it was reasonably likely that Clinton's non-secure private server was accessed or hacked by hostile actors, though there was no evidence to prove it. But that passage was also changed to a much weaker possible. It went from reasonably likely to possible, the memo shows. The full draft and edits were released on the website of Senate Homeland and Government Affairs Committee Chairman Government Affairs Committee Chairman Ron Johnson, who's a Republican from Wisconsin, provided the most complete public accounting to date of Comey's draft and the edits. The draft, released in full for the first time on Thursday, which is today, offers new details on the FBI's Clinton investigation and controversial conclusion. The Hill was first to report late last year that Comey originally concluded Clinton was grossly negligible. Why is it I start my show, I'm just like all of a sudden yawn, then it goes away. Not tired of drinking God knows how many coffees today. So, The Hill was first to report late last year that Comey's original draft concluded Clinton was grossly negligent. The statutory term supporting felony mishandling of classified information when she and her aides transmitted 110 emails containing classified information through her non-secure server, but that subordinates edited the terms to a lesser extreme careless. The full draft with edits leaves little doubt that Comey originally wrote on May 2nd, 2016, that there was evidence that Clinton and top aides may have violated both felony and misdemeanor statutes, though he did not believe he could prove intent before a jury. Which, that right there, I don't understand. There's no need for intent. There's a lot of people that did not intend to break the law, but they did break the law and they're still convicted. Quote, although there is evidence of potential violations of the statute prescribing gross negligence in the handling of the classified information and the statute prescribing misdemeanor handling, my judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Yeah, that's a little bit of a bullshit on his end. As we're now finding out that the FBI was helping cover her up. The FBI has told Congress the edits were made by subordinates to Comey and then accepted by the then director before he made his final announcement July 5th, 2016, that he would not pursue criminal charges against Clinton. Johnson recently sent a letter to new FBI Director Christopher Wray demanding to know why such significant edits were made to Comey's draft and whether they were part of an effort by FBI subordinates to politically protect Clinton from a harsher assessment during the 2016 election. The edits to Director Comey's public statement made months prior to the conclusion of the FBI's investigation of Secretary Clinton's conduct had a significant impact on the FBI's public evaluation of the implementation of her actions, Johnson wrote, noting recently released text messages show some senior FBI officials involved in the case harbored political hatred for Trump or preference for Clinton. And we know that's going on. We see that all the time. And you got Stroke. Hold on 1 minute. You had Stroke making these changes. You can go through the list and list and list of actions that Stroke did himself to help candidate Clinton. He goes on, this effort, seen in light of the personal animus towards then candidate Trump by senior agents leading the Clinton investigation and their apparent desire to create an insurance policy against Mr. Trump's election, raised profound questions about the FBI's role and possible interference in the 2016 presidential election. Johnson stated that in the letter. One edit that concerned Johnson was a decision to delete from Comey's original draft a reference to the FBI working on a joint assessment with the Intelligence Committee about possible national security damage from the classified information that passed through Clinton's non-secure email servers. We weren't told about that. There was an assessment going on behind closed doors, was there? Oh, no. Johnson also admitted The FBI provided him the editing comments and the margins of the Comey memo that were redacted before Congress was given the document, so lawmakers can better understand the intent of some of the changes that were made. The full document shows that when Comey first sent to his top deputy the draft statements May 2nd, 2016, announcing Clinton wouldn't face criminal charges, he imagined it would be a part of an austerious news conference where he took no questions from reporters. That event did not happen until 2 months later. To quote, I've been trying to imagine what it would look like if I decided to do an FBI-only press event to close out our work and hand the matter to DOJ, Comey wrote, to help shape our decision of whether that or something different makes sense. I have spent time crafting what I would say, which follows. In my imagination, I didn't see me taking any questions. Well, he didn't want to take any questions. Well, he knew what would end up happening. Well, maybe not. I mean, the media is so far out there to help, they don't want to talk about this shit. Thought I had. Hang on 1 second. Now, as that article came out, it's also at least 18 classified emails sent from the account of top Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin were found by the FBI. This is a new revelation. This is new. By the FBI on a laptop belonging to her estranged husband, Anthony Weiner. According to the conservative group Judicial Watch, 5 previously unreleased classified emails were found among a batch of 147 documents related to Abedin that were released by the State Department last week. Judicial Watch says at least 18 classified emails were found on Anthony Weiner's laptop. The classified information on the Weiner laptop is part of a pattern of mishandling national security matter by Clinton and her aides. The Weiner emails emphasize the need for the Justice Department to conduct a fresh, serious investigation of Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin to top it off. Because there seems to be obvious violations of law here, people. This is not. My laptop's acting up. It's an absolute joke what has been going on. That's also why. All right. Got the heat on. I never knew where the heat was in this room. Well, I next to never turn my heat on, except we're going through one of these global warming, phases where it's supposed to get down to like 26 or something like that tonight. Let's see, where are we? Right now I'm in Tampa, Florida, and it's 36 degrees outside. That tells you anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. I agree with Trump. Maybe we could use a little bit of that global warming. Heat stuff up a little bit. I'm in Florida. It's supposed to be hot, not this cold. I loved when he put that tweet out. It totally lit people up. They went ape shit over there. Oh, my God. They need to learn to, take a fucking joke. It's a joke anymore. The media and the left. They get so upset so easily. But the classification, the discovery of classified emails, on Weiner's laptop was the impetus for the FBI to briefly reopen its investigation into Clinton's private email server in the final days of the 26th campaign. The cache includes documents sent from Aberdeen's ClintonEmail.com account, as well as from her BlackBerry. Former FBI Director James Comey told lawmakers earlier this year that he believes Aberdeen regularly forwarded emails to Weiner for him to print out so she could give them to Clinton. Talk about passing around unsecured classified information. Why couldn't she print it out? Why did it have to go to her husband's laptop? I mean, if it was anybody, Joe Schmo, they would have been in jail already. And the other question that begs, where was the serious investigation of Huma Abedin? Where was it? I mean, people were given an amnesty, or not amnesty. Damn, I can't think. Give me a second; it'll come to me. Hopefully. Oh, whatever. They were granted immunity. That's the word I was thinking. Oh my God. Immunity. And the only time immunity is given is if there's going to be a conviction. The material has to be worth getting that immunity for. And she was given immunity, from what I understand, when she should be investigated. I mean, Jesus Christ, we've had like sailors innocently take a picture of something that was top secret because they wanted to show it to their grandkids in like 20 years. And now spending 10 to 20 years in Leavenworth. What the fuck? How is that justice? Oh, it boggles my mind and pisses me off. Nikes, I gotta download something. You're gonna hear some bings and bongs, possibly. Today or yesterday, she said that. There it is. All right. I have a new Money Talks Minute. I'm going to set that up in a second. Then we're going to go to break. Just what is going on in our justice system. And Sessions, I thought, was going to be a man that we could trust. And it doesn't look it. I mean, it's the same shit over and over again. And I don't know about anybody else. I'm tired of it. This is why Trump got elected, was it not? Because we are tired of crap like this. All right. You're talking to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And we will be right back.
Welcome to this week's Money Talk with Melanie with your business diva, Melanie Collette. This week, we talk 3 first steps to start the new year off right. Step 1, start tracking your net worth. Your net worth is the difference between your assets and debt. Paying attention to your net worth Lets you know whether you should be cutting back or if you can splurge. Step 2, create a financial calendar. Set appointment reminders for things like remembering to pay your quarterly taxes or periodically pulling a credit report. Finally, step 3, check your interest rates. Checking your interest rates is a great way to determine things like which debts you should pay off first or where you should open a savings account. And that's all for this week's Money Talk Minute with your business diva, Melanie Collette. Please remember to listen to Money Talk with Melanie Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central, or 2 p.m. Pacific Time on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians, a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, clues to the clueless. Sackheads Sean, Sackheads Clint, and Sackheads BZ. The Sackheads Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern on shrmedia.com. Watch on YouTube, Facebook, and the High Plains Pundit Network. The best in late-night conservative talk. The Sackheads Radio Show, only on the SHR Media Network.
Go ahead, I'll say it again. Some of the best A-roll is going to be B-roll.
Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Just
the last question that you really cut in a couple seconds.
Yeah, I'm a freaking artist. I can't just come up with this shit off the top of my head. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Good point. Exactly right. Oh,
God. Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Sam on SHR Media. You can listen to my new show starting on Tuesdays in January. Get my perspective on national politics, a conservative's perspective on California politics, the latest in the war on terror, all of that and a lot more here on Tuesdays at SHR Media. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Sam_SHR Media.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver Common Sense Show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint, and I'm with Sackhead Sean, Sackhead BZ. No communists allowed on the SHR Media Network.
Damn straight, mister.
Back to the show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening. Contact is the evening.
Now back to Reaver Common Sense with Jersey Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Oh, boy. I'm out of it. I've been in so much pain the last couple of days. Oh. Is it bad that I'm sitting here looking at the time going, is this show almost done? I just want to curl up in a ball and go to sleep. And it's not just, okay, you know, the weather. They changed my meds on me and everything, so it's really got me all woogity-woogity. I'll tell you that right now. So, the next thing I want to talk about is this past Friday on MSNBC, climate activist Bill Nye warns conservatives to watch out, saying progressive blue states will address climate change on their own. I love it. Look, trying to scare us. Nye said only 40% of the people in the U.S. think that Congress should be addressing this, and that's because certain conservative groups, especially from the fossil fuel industry, have been very successful in introducing the idea that scientific uncertainty plus or minus 2% is the same as plus or minus 100%. Every time I see an article anymore about global warming, it's how they lied, how they falsified, how they were just outright lied. Just a couple days ago, New York was supposed to be underwater again by one of the scientific estimates guesses. You know, so Bill Nye, take your theories and shove them right up your ass. 40% of the people, well, 60% of the people in this world don't buy into your bullshit because we actually look at all the facts, just not the quote-unquote scientific facts coming from your side. But what he gets into it, where is it? He continued, there's a lot of emphasis from conservatives on what are writ large state rights. Just watch out, conservative. If state rights include California, Illinois, New York, these places where people voted in a progressive fashion, watch out if all of those places start to address climate change and then impose economic sanctions, either overtly or by default, on places that have not embraced the work that needs to be done, then you'll end up with this state's rights working the other way around. Now, what you'll have is those states that are addressing economical sanctions will be fucking going broke. He doesn't understand. You can do those sanctions. There's more states that don't believe in this crap, more states that don't vote progressive than there are states that vote progressive. So it would only be hurting them themselves. So you know what? He just as with this climate change bullshit, he hasn't thought all the way through. But he went on, we've got to remind people that we're all in this together. The people I think about all the time are the people that, all the time are what are elegantly stated as the hillbillies. The people I think about all the time are what are elegantly stated as the hillbillies. We want to engage everybody. Not working to address climate change is in no one's best interest. It is not in the best interest, especially your children, your grandchildren. A couple of times you mentioned that I am against the president and so on. I am not especially against the president. Bullshit. I just think he's gotten himself surrounded by people who are willing to mortgage the future to let the people who are coming into the workforce now pay for the future. This is true, not just with regard to the national debt, which will almost certainly increase the same way it tripled under the beloved Ronald Reagan. Bullshit. And what about the national debt that was, well, how should I say it? Obama in 8 years built the national debt to equal the same as 43 presidents, from George Washington to George Bush and all in between added together. That's what Obama did. Nobody had a fucking clue on the left about it. They had no fucking problem with him spending all the money. But now all of a sudden they want to try to be worried about the economy. What you don't understand is it didn't triple the debt. We increased money going into the government by cutting taxes, which made people spend more money. And it goes on, not only with the national debt increase, but the climate debt, in a sense. But we have to address climate change will be more and more difficult to pay back or pay down. Yeah, because it's never ending paying out your ass. Because it does nothing. It pays for nothing. It puts more regulations. More regulations. Puts companies out of business. Puts people so they are flat-ass broke and have no money and have to beg the government for money. That's what they want. It has nothing to do with the weather. Got some nice cold snow in the Northeast. We're a little cold down here. Not happy about it. But it's Mother Nature, people. And most people understand it. It's fucking Mother Nature. And I actually heard people going, well, this proves that there's climate change. Yeah, it does that, asshole. Some years it's cold. Some years it's warm. Some years it's okay. That's called Mother Nature. We have records of weather doing this, dating back thousands upon thousands of years before humankind was around. But no, they can't put that around their head. Maybe what you need to do is put down the pipe and pick up a book and read a little bit about histories, assholes. Stop trying to dump all these goddamn regulations that are killing jobs, killing the middle class. And then you have de Blasio. How the hell did that jackass just get reelected? And he, with this statement, he really showed how much he is against independency. He wants the government to own everything. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio once argued for a planned economy, claiming that the legal protection of private property is what is causing serious inequality in the city. People owning their own place to live is what's causing inequality in the city. Quote, what's been hardest is the way our legal system is structured to favor private property. I think people all over this city of every background would like to have the city government be able to determine which building goes where, how high will it be, who gets to live in it, what the rent will be. De Blasio told New York Magazine in September 2017. He wants the government to tell you where you will eat, sleep, shower, and shave. He wants to control what buildings go up and who goes in them, and what the rent will be, how much they're going to charge. Let that sink in. He wants to tell you where to live and control your housing. And if they're controlling the housing, they'll tell you how you have to live. I mean, not so long ago, he also suggested they need a government-run news radio station. A government-run. So he wants government-run news agency. Doesn't China, Russia, North Korea do that type of stuff? He wants to tell you where to live. Again, I'll go back to those aforementioned countries. This is what he wants. And a quote again, I think there's a socialistic impulse, which I hear every day in every kind of community, that they would like things to be planned in accordance to their needs. Right there. He's trying to say everybody's a goddamn drone, and he wants to be able to tell everybody what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to go do it at. De Blasio went on to say that it is unfortunate the law stands in the way of hundreds of years of history of Americans having the right to private property. It's unfortunate, he says, that we have the right to private property. It's unfortunate. Unfortunately, quote, unfortunately, what stands in the way of that is 100 years of history have elevated property rights and wealth to the point that that's the reality that calls the tune on a lot of development. The solution to fixing housing and other perceived ills in the city, according to Blasio, is to rid itself of exclusionary private property rights. Look, if I had my dearth, the city government would determine every single plot of land, how the development would proceed. There would be very stringent requirements around low income levels and rents. That's a world I'd love to see. And I think what we have in the city, at least, are people who would love to have the New Deal back on one level. What you're describing is exactly what some of the worst dictators started out. Because they think they know better. De Blasio thinks he knows better on how you should live than you think how you should live. And a society like that, you will never be able to raise yourself up. You'll always be in the dirt. Never will you be able to rise up. Never will we hear stories of a poor person making its way to being rich under that type of system. See, it's not total socialism they want. They want full-on communism. They want to control your living. They want to control your health care. They want to control your housing. They want to control every aspect of your life. They want to take control of your kids. They don't want you raising them because they know better. Why do they think they know better? It's because they won a popularity contest. Sorry, if you look right down to it, it's a popularity contest. That's what I liked about the electoral system. And again, he just got reelected. They just reelected an asshole like that. God, it boggles my mind. It really does. All right, where are we? Shit. about that time for a break again. Give me a break. Give me a break. Boop. Wow. All right, sorry, I'm playing with the software and forgetting what I'm at. All right, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians, a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, clues to the clueless. Sackheads Sean, Sackheads Clint, and Sackheads BZ. The Sackheads Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern on shrmedia.com. Watch on YouTube, Facebook, and the High Plains Pundit Network. The best in late-night conservative talk. The Sackheads Radio Show, only on the SHR Media Network.
Go ahead, I'll say it again.
Some of the best A-roll is going to be evil.
Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
Just the last push we did really cut a couple seconds.
Yeah, I'm a freaking artist. I can't just come up with this shit off the top of my head. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Good point. Exactly right. Oh, God.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Sam on SHR Media. You can listen to my new show starting on Tuesdays in January. Get my perspective on national politics, a conservative's perspective on California politics, the latest in the war on terror, all of that and a lot more here on Tuesdays at SHR Media. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Sam_SHR Media.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, You can catch Reaver Common Sense Show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint, and I'm with Sackhead Sean, Sackhead BZ. No communists allowed on the SHR Media Network.
Damn straight, mister.
Back to the show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening.
Contact is the evening.
Now back to Reaver Common Sense with Jersey Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. Oh, welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. I'm here to make sense out of sense. I was watching the last, I don't know, like 30 seconds of the game for the Flyers, Islanders. Islanders pulled the goalie. The Flyers got the puck, and they ran down, and they were playing keep away from the Islanders, trying to get, a score, and they finally did. And Ivan Provorov got 2 goals. That was beautiful. So, or did he get a hat trick? Not sure. It was beautiful. And the Islanders were getting a little nasty, so Flyers took care of it. All right, back to some of the shit that's going on. I mean, the left have totally lost their fucking mind. They're off their rocker. It's not even funny anymore. I mean, they're full out showing their true colors, and this is one of them. De Blasio showing just how much of a communist he really is. Bernie Sanders sitting there going, well, taxes, the way it's going, we might lose some votes. And I forget the article I read earlier, and it said there's a Democrat caucus senator or House member. I said they're afraid they're going to lose some minority and the millennials. Because he said if they see the taxes did their job, this tax reform, and their taxes go down, they have more money in their pocket, he admits, well, all right, I'll get to that one second. He admitted that, millennials are going to be voting Republican in 2018, and he knows it. That's why they talk so much shit about this actual policy. They're trying to what's the word I'm thinking of? Brainwash the people. They're sitting there, all these companies that are offering bonuses now, hiring more people and upping their minimum wage, starting wage, without the government enforcing it. Why? Because they know they're going to have more money to spend. And the Democrats know we're fucked. So they come out screaming and yelling. And Trump's such an evil man, he did away with the mandate that's going to tear insurance away from people. No, it's not, you morons. It's going to allow people to make a decision. Get fined, have a health care plan I cannot afford. Now I don't have to choose between the two. I just don't have health care. And now breaking, that was 12 hours ago, but from the AP, it says breaking, Trump administration takes first step towards clearing path for sale of health insurance across state lines. That's been a number one agenda of Republicans for a while. You have competition in all these states. Insurance goes down. You're going to be seeing insurance companies dropping that deductible bullshit real lower and lower, the insurance lower, because they're going to have to compete. What Obamacare did is gave it a monopoly to a handful, not even a handful, of insurances. But the Democrats can't sit back and go, shit, we're screwed. We're screwed. So they got to come out and stir the pot. And I know I talked about it a lot, but now you have Democrats, the constituents, the voters that were Democrats going, I'm walking away from this party. They haven't done shit. The only thing they're doing is fighting Trump, fighting Trump, fighting Trump. Nothing else. And a lot of people are getting pissed off. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up. I don't have the whole article in front of me. One of Obama's little cronies, sent out a tweet telling Trump he needs to keep his nose out of Iran's business. It's none of our business. We need to leave it alone. Well, where was Obama doing that during the French election? Where was Obama doing that during Brexit vote? He's gotten involved in so many elections and the stuff that was going on besides the United States. Any of his people ought to just shut the fuck up. Excuse my language on that. Just shut the fuck up. When you work for a guy that did the same thing, just shut up. Oh. And this one, I wish this... Professors are showing their lunacy on why they should not be teaching our kids. We've gone from Jingle Bells being racist somehow. A whole list. Cat in a Hat, Dr. Seuss being racist. Well, now, Prince Charming is a sexual assailant. And he's not that charming after all. According to a professor, he is a sex offender. Disney's fairy tale princes are sexual predators, according to the Japanese gender studies and sociological professor Kazumata, and Osaka University professor and author of Sir, That Love is Sexual Harassment, a book on workplace sexual harassment, argued in December that princes from Snow White and Sleeping Beauty portray quasi-compulsive, obscene sexual act on an unconscious partner. Oh my fucking God. Every time I think the Democrats and liberals have jumped the shark, well, they find another shark to jump. Oh my God, just it is Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. When is a cartoon just a cartoon? When is a compliment just a compliment anymore? Because I've heard some women say, I didn't know I was sexually harassed until I was told I was sexually harassed. What? What? Holy shit. Our world's going batshit crazy with this stuff. Seriously, we're going batshit crazy. In other words, the feminist academic activists argue such fairy tales allow sexual violence. In a December 11th tweet, Muda accused the princess of sexual assault with a link to a news story of a real case where a man was arrested for kissing a sleeping woman on a train en route to Osaka. So then, wait a minute, Al Franken must be a sexual predator. And he actually grabbed a woman's breast while she was sleeping without her permission. These are fairy tales of not sexual assault, of... oh my God, my head is just hurting right now. Oh. The translation of this comment was, when you think rationally, some word that she doesn't totally understand, about Snow White and the Sleeping Beauty, that tale of a princess being woken by the kiss of a prince, they are describing sexual assault on an unconscious person. You might think I'm ruining the fantasy of it all, but these stories are promoting sexual violence, and I would like everyone to be aware of it. I think you're promoting stupidity and drama. I'd like everyone to be aware of that. Of course, the comments brought a firestorm of reaction, support, and criticism. In the Disney version of Sleeping Beauty, the prince is led to kiss Princess Ariel or whatever the hell by the fairies with the belief that he can cure her of her napping curse, not motivated by his own pervy will. If I remember right, wasn't she the curse that was put on her? She could not be woken to her true love kisses her. But we'll skip that part of the fairy tale. While the Snow White version features a prince kissing an unconscious Snow White, Disney tries to soften the act by establishing a prior relationship between them in which she and the prince fall in love at first sight. Also, Snow White had eaten a cursed apple, and the prince's kiss wakes her from a sleeping death. After the criticism was picked up by Yahoo Japan, Muda responded with an article for the Women's Action Network. Muda argues that if someone doesn't look at the fairy tale critically, they are essentially saying sexual harassment is permissible.
Oh, God.
So, in other words, if you don't agree, you've got to be a sexual predator. If you see that it's a cartoon, you're a sexual predator. This is typical liberal tactics. You don't agree? You're going to be chastised for it. There are many critical replies that state because the princess and prince lived happily ever after at the end, there is a presumptive consent regarding the kiss, so there's no problem. Now, Muna wrote, however, this understanding of it is actually dangerous. This kind of thinking fabricates the mindset of the ends justify the means, and to what extent does this allow sexual violence to occur? She expounded on the tweet, arguing that beyond the Disney version and within Japanese fairy tales, the male figure kisses without consent, so they're actually committing sexual crimes. Muda adds that many violent sexual crimes seem as if they are mimicked the action of male protagonists in the fairy tale, and connected her argument to the Me Too hashtag, highlighting sexual harassment which has been found to be especially rampant in Hollywood. Under such circumstances, changing society's recognition of sexual violence is not an easy thing to do. However, we must say these things loudly and boldly. Hey, dipshit. I watched a lot of Bugs Bunny cartoons growing up. A lot of Bugs Bunny cartoons. It didn't mean I was going to dress up like a woman. Doesn't mean I ran around lighting a cat on fire. It doesn't mean I was trying to drop rocks on coyotes. On a roadrunner. I wasn't trying to kill a large chicken. It's a cartoon. It's not teaching anybody sexual harassment or sexual assault. When you take one tiny part of the whole story, you can turn it into whatever you want. Try telling the whole story, and it's not sexual harassment. But that doesn't fit the agenda to stir up problems. And that's what it comes down to, and the liberals love to do it. They love to do that. They love to take one little piece and twist it to make it look like a huge problem. Shit, I wish I could find. I was some guy earlier. He does these fake videos of liberals, and it just shows how ridiculous they really are. Bitterly cold global warming strikes East Coast. It's ridiculous. It really is. With that, you're listening. There you go. All right, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Fun at Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians, a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, clues to the clueless. Sackheads Sean, Sackheads Clint, and Sackheads BZ. The Sackheads Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern on shrmedia.com. Watch on YouTube, Facebook, and the High Plains Pundit Network. The best in late-night conservative talk. The Sackheads Radio Show, only on the SHR Media Network.
Go ahead, I'll say it again.
Some of the best A-roll is going to be evil.
Like, what are you talking about?
The last commercial we cut a couple seconds.
Yeah, I'm a freaking artist. I can't just come up with this shit off the top of my head. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Good point. Exactly right.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Sam on SHR Media. You can listen to my new show starting on Tuesdays in January. Get my perspective on national politics, a conservative's perspective on California politics, the latest in the war on terror, all of that and a lot more here on Tuesdays at SHR Media. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Sam_SHR Media.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver Common Sense Show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint, and I'm with Sackhead Sean, Sackhead BZ. No communists allowed on the SHR Media Network.
Damn straight, mister.
Back to the show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening.
Contact is the evening.
Now back to Reaver Common Sense with Jersey Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Don't forget, coming up at top of the hour in approximately 54 minutes will be BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, hosted by BZ himself. So tune in right after my show. All right, Hillary Clinton backer paid $500,000 to fund women accusing Trump of sexual misconduct before Election Day, report says. One of Hillary Clinton's wealthy pals paid $500,000 in an unsuccessful effort to fund women willing to accuse President Trump of sexual misconduct before the 2016 election. The New York Times reported Sunday. Susie Tompkin Buell, the founder of Eastbright Clothing and a major Clinton campaign donor for many years, gave the money to celebrity lawyer Lisa Bloom, who was working with a number of Trump accusers at the time, according to the paper's bombshell report. Bloom solicited donors by saying she was working with women who might find the courage to speak out against Trump if the donors would provide funds for security, relocation, and possibly a safe house, a paper reported. Former Clinton nemesis turned Clinton operative David Brock also donated $200,000 to the effort through a nonprofit group he funded. The paper reported in its article entitled, "Partisans Wielding Money Begin Seeking to Exploit Harassment Claims." This is what the Democrats do to try to win. They shuffle this money around. And they complain about the money in campaigns. Why? Because they've learned how to get around the system, to bank the system. So they want to put some rules in so the Republicans can't fund themselves, but they will still be able to. Bloom told the Times that the effort was unproductive. One woman requested $2 million, then decided not to come forward, nor did any other women. Bloom said she refunded most of the cash, keeping only some funds for out-of-pocket expenses occurred while working to vet and prepare cases. The lawyer told the paper she did not communicate with Clinton or her campaign on any of this. She also maintained that she represented only clients whose stories she had collaborated and disputed the premises that she offered money to coerce clients to come forward, the paper reported. Yeah. You think she's going to come out and admit what she did? She knows it was illegal, so of course she's not going to admit it. But it shows you how low the Democrats are willing to go. Insight from Daniel Halper, contributing editor with the Washington Free Beacon and author of Clinton Inc. It doesn't cost anything to publicly air allegations, Bloom said. Security and relocation are expensive and were solely needed in a case of this magnitude, in a country filled with so much hate, anger, and violence. The Times article said it learned of Buell and Brock's connection to Bloom from two Democrats familiar with the financial arrangement, who also said Bloom's law firm kept the money from Brock's nonprofit group but refunded the $500,000 that Buell contributed. Brock declined comments, according to the paper. Clinton campaign representatives said they were unaware of his work with Bloom. Buell would not comment on the financial arrangement, according to the Times. Still, she claimed she was frustrated that Trump had escaped the repercussions that have befallen many other powerful men accused of sexual misconduct. The Times article expanded on a report in The Hill 2 weeks ago that said Bloom worked with campaign donors and tabloid media outlets during the final months of the presidential election to arrange compensation for the alleged Trump victims and a commission for herself offering to sell their stories. Fox News contributor tells Vanity Fair to get a backbone after the magazine apologizes for mocking the failed presidential nominee. In one case, Bloom reportedly arranged for a donor to pay off one Trump's accuser mortgage, ABZ, and attempted a six-figure payout for another woman. The woman with the mortgage ultimately declined to come forward after being offered $750,000, the Hill reported. The paper reported reviewing one email exchange between one woman and Bloom that suggested political action committees supporting Hillary Clinton were soliciting without naming which ones. Bloom, who's the daughter of famous attorney Gloria Alfred, and like her mother, specializes in representing women in sexual harassment cases, worked for four women who were considered accusing Trump. Two went public and two declined. So you tell me if these accusations weren't don't smell of being bought off. You know, it doesn't pop out of nowhere like they did. They had time, many years, to come out. But just when he runs for president, again, that shows how low the Democrats will go. I'm just... dumbfounded. Again, every time I think that the Democrats have jumped the shark, they ask me to hold their beer for them. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg saying he wants to fix Facebook and he needs everybody's help. I'll pass. Oh, Nikes. Oh, and Happy New Year's, BZ. Happy New Year's. I'm just... And this is not going to be stopping anytime soon. Oh, and everybody here, there was a fire at the Clinton property. I believe it was the Secret Service building. This is up at Chappaquiddick, New York. On Wednesday afternoon, the blaze occurred in a building on the property and was quickly extinguished. All right, I will. She'll be up. What's today? Thursday? Yeah, tomorrow's the last night she's able to stay up late because she goes back to school on Monday. She had what? Her last day of school was December 21st. So, yeah. And I noticed that Clinton got that fire put out. She got help real quick. And as Sackhead Sean said, I'm trying to remember exactly how he put it. I may not phrase it exactly, but he wants to know how come she didn't have to wait 13 hours. Yeah, that's it. It was the Secret Service annex. I didn't take it. It didn't take 13 hours response like it did for another annex. Again, she gets special treatment. And some people are asking, what was there some documents left in there that she needed to get rid of? Holy shit. I can't believe the weather. What are we down to now? 34 degrees. They were actually predicting snow. There was like a 10% chance that we could have got snow here in Tampa. Now, it snowed in Tallahassee. Oh, did it snow? It snowed pretty good up there. Now, we didn't get any that I saw, and I'm happy about that, but we're supposed to get down to 31. We did get down to 27 last night. And that's friggin' cold for us. I mean, we got reptiles that are dead now. I actually turned my heat on yesterday. And I just so during the middle of the night it doesn't get super cold in the house. Otherwise, I wouldn't have turned it on. Otherwise, I normally have my AC running probably 95% of the year or more. I like my house when I'm sleeping at 71. When I'm awake, it can go up to 76, 78. But yeah, this global warming, where the hell is it? I moved to Florida from warm weather, and I got friggin' Arctic weather. I tell you. And don't forget, it was just a couple days ago that New York was supposed to be under the water. There was that prediction. I don't know. Let's see, where are we at? I'm so discombobulated today. Oh, Keith Ellison, the vice chair of the Democrat National Committee, sparked controversy on Wednesday by tweeting an apparent endorsement of violent left-wing group Antifa. And yes, there is a picture of him holding Antifa's, what do you want to call it? SOPs or guidelines, whatever. Ellison's endorsement of the group, which the Department of Homeland Security says is responsible for domestic terrorist violence, is just the latest instant of Ellison's publicly attaching himself to radical figures and ideology. Ellison once defended famed anti-Semitic Louis Farrakhan, head of the Nation of Islam, against charges of anti-Semitic. In an op-ed of the Washington Post last year, Ellison said he should have more closely scrutinized Farrakhan, who once said Hitler was a very great man, but blamed a right-wing spear campaign for any questions raised about his ties to anti-Semitic figures. Ellison has his own history of radical positions, including advocating for black nationalism. During college, he wrote columns arguing for the creation of a black-only ethno-state and called the U.S. Constitution the best evidence of a white racist conspiracy to subjugate other people. Similarly, while speaking at a protest following in 1992, Ellison declared that black people don't live in a democracy and don't have an obligation to obey government. While speaking to an atheist group in 2007, Ellison compared the September 11th attack to the Reichstag fire. Reichstag, right? I can't speak tonight. He stopped just short of accusing then-President George W. Bush of having a hand in the attack. And I got to get the wife out because I know I'm mispronouncing this. I know I am. It's been a while since I've looked for the wife. I don't know if she's here. All right. Just for some reason, I'm having trouble speaking today. All right, I got to turn on this button. Reichstag. Sorry about that. I'm just total blind. It's almost like the Reichstag fire kind of reminds me of that. Ellison said of the terrorist attacks. After the Reichstag was burned, they blamed the communists for it. And it put the leader, Hitler, of that country in a position where he could basically have authority to do whatever he wanted. Sounds like this socialism crap that Ellison likes to push. I mean, you got Bloomberg, who's a socialist, and as we talked about at the beginning of the show, he wants to do away with personal property. He wants the government owning any housing so he could tell who lives where and how much rent will be and how much you're going to pay. That's the kind of authority that Hitler wanted. And here we have several Democrats are agreeing with what Hitler did years ago. And I hate that comparison with Hitler. I really do. But since this article, Ellison wants to talk about it, I can see more of a connection when you have a mayor of one of the largest cities in the United States, one of the main cities of the United States, preaching and condemning the fact that we have property rights in this country, preaching that he wants to control where housing is put, how high, who goes in it, and what they pay for. It's not a free country. And as I said, Bloomberg also wants to do a state government-run radio station for news so that they can control what you know and what you hear about. And if you think they're able to do that, and they do it, you think it's going to be bad, this is going to be 100 times worse than CNN and MSNBC. Because this will be 100% controlled by the government. That is stuff communist countries do. Communist countries do this all the time. Ellison, he is a danger to this country, and he is the second in command of the DNC. Shit. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on... Whoops. Let me change it up. There we go. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians, a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, clues to the clueless. Sackheads Sean, Sackheads Clint, and Sackheads BZ. The Sackheads Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern on shrmedia.com. Watch on YouTube, Facebook, and the High Plains Pundit Network. The best in late-night conservative talk. The Sackheads Radio Show, only on the SHR Media Network.
Go ahead, I'll say it again.
Some of the best A-roll is going to be B-roll.
Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
Just the last question that you really cut a couple seconds.
Yeah, I'm a freaking artist. I can't just come up with this shit off the top of my head. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Good point. Exactly right. Oh, God.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the unpleasant blind guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Sam on SHR Media. You can listen to my new show starting on Tuesdays in January. Get my perspective on national politics, a conservative's perspective on California politics, the latest in the war on terror, all of that and a lot more here on Tuesdays at SHR Media. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Sam_SHR Media.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver Common Sense Show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint, and with Sackhead Sean, Sackhead BZ. No communists allowed on the SHR Media Network.
Damn straight, mister.
Back to the show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Pay no attention to the muffled screams in the background. You are listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on the SHR Media Network. Back to you, Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am the host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Hey, don't forget, coming up in about 31 minutes, top of the hour will be BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, hosted by, you got it, BZ himself, and I think he's going to have a pretty excellent guest. They're going to be talking politics and paranormal. And just stay tuned. It will be 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the right coast, and that's what, 8 o'clock p.m. on the west coast, the left coast. I guess that's why, you got all those liberals over there, left coast. So, nice setup. The House Intelligence Committee will be provided access this week to all documents related to the Steele dossier as part of a deal struck with the congressional panel in the Justice Department. California Rep. Devin Nunes, the Republican chair of the Intelligence Panel, laid out details of the agreement in a letter sent Thursday night to Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Nunes and Rosenstein spoke by phone on Wednesday and, according to Nunes, agreed to provide committee staff with access to a slew of dossier-related records. The agreement, if fulfilled, will bring an end to a saga that has dragged on since August 24th, when Nunes issued subpoenas to the DOJ and FBI for documents about the dossier, which was written by former British spy Christopher Steele and used by investigators looking into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian government. I think that's about the time when Nunes had to step down because he was being investigated. So I'm wondering if he was getting a little too close at that point. We'll find out now. It is my hope that this agreement will provide the committee with all outstanding documents and witnesses necessary to complete its investigation into matters involving DOJ and FBI, Nunes wrote to Rosenstein. The materials we are questioning are vital to the committee's investigation of potential abuses into intelligence and law enforcement agencies' handling of Christopher Steele's dossier. Looks like we finally got that wheel starting to turn into investigations into who it should be investigating. The Clintons, the DNC, brain fart, Obama's administration, Jim Comey, and it's just starting. Because you're seeing these investigations more and more pointing away from Trump and pointing right towards the Democrats. Nunes, who served on Donald Trump's presidential transition team, says that he and Rosenstein agree that designated committee staff will be allowed to review the documents at Justice Department headquarters on Friday. Majority and Democrat minority members of the committee will be granted access to transcripts of FBI interviews conducted as part of its Russian investigation, as well as transcripts of interviews with certain confidential witnesses. One exception is being made for a single interview transcript. Due to national security interests, says Nunes, that transcript will be shown separately by FBI Director Christopher Wray to Nunes and his senior investigators next week. This is still, I mean, what are those documents really going to say? Are they going to tell any of the truth? We have, you want to talk collusion. Talk collusion between FBI, DOJ, DNC, Hillary Clinton. There you have collusion. And they included into Russia. You want to talk about collusion? There it is. The DOJ, FBI should never be allowed to be involved in the politics like it was. They're supposed to be neutral. And I'm not talking the investigations. That's far from it. I'm talking about the other shit that's going on. The fact that Hillary Clinton should have been on trial. I say, according to what evidence is there, we take that evidence and put it to a grand jury. Let a grand jury decide. Let a grand jury decide whether it is enough information, if it merits a case. Just make sure it's a fair attorney that's doing it. I don't want a Trump lover as the attorney. I don't want a Hillary Clinton lover either. I want somebody that says, I don't care about either one of them. I care about justice. I know that probably be a near impossibility to find. But that's the attorney I would want on those cases. I don't want to frame people. If they didn't do anything, they didn't do anything. But what right is right. And allowing people that it damn sure looks like are guilty as hell to walk when us peons have done less than that and gotten arrested by our government. It definitely looks, definitely a good driver, definitely a good driver. I drive it in the driveway. Definitely looks like collusion on our government side. It looks like there's two sets of laws. One for the leaders and one for us. Hell, California doesn't even hide that they have rules set up for the people and rules set up for their government. Unless I'm mistaken, they just exempt their Senate and House from all the gun laws in the state of California that they put in there that say the people can't carry guns or what type of guns they can't carry. The Senate is now exempt from it. And I'm sure I'm wrong on it. BZ will tell me. So I don't want people, to go to jail just to go to jail. And like I was talking to my father again, we have a fear. Okay, they do go after Hillary. Who's going to get convicted? Some little pissant cleaner. Some janitor is going to get thrown under the bus for all of it, and he'll be the one going to jail. Use an example. I'm being exaggerating there too, but sorry about this. My wife and daughter were outside, and I thought I only saw my wife. I thought I saw somebody out there with her. It's, 10:30 here. She went to walk the dog. It's dark outside, so it was actually my daughter and my wife. I thought my daughter came inside. Sorry about that. Where did my mouse go? There it is. I'm tired of it. And the Democrats, they've become so overconfident. I think they're overplaying their hand, such as Ellison. He's overplaying his hand. He's showing what the Democrat Party is truly about. But as he was talking, he never actually said that Bush and his administration had their hands in the bombing of the Trade Center. Ellison went on to say he wouldn't suggest the U.S. had a hand in the attacks because, that's how they put you in the nutball box, dismiss you, before later walking back to comments. But in 2009, a Democrat congressman headlined a fundraiser for controversial Libyan-born activists running for the Virginia Assembly. The activist, Ashima Omushi, was known to have praised one of the founders of Hamas and to have called on Palestinians to embrace the jihad way and its battle against Israel. Ellison campaigned with him anyway. That same year, Ellison was the subject of the House Ethics Committee investigation after he failed to disclose that an American Muslim organization with ties to the Muslim Brotherhood had paid $13,500 to him to take a pilgrimage to Mecca in 2008. Ellison, like the black nationalist he has since distanced himself from, has a history of spewing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. During a 2010 speech to a mostly Muslim audience, Ellison claimed that Americans' foreign policies put Israel's interests first because American Jews have mobilized to do its bidding in America. Ellison's ties to Farrakhan and his own anti-Semitic statements were a source of internal division within the Democrat Party during last year's race for DNC chair. Democratic mega donor Haim Saban threatened to leave the party if Ellison was elected chair. And I know there was a lot of others that said if Ellison got elected, they were walking away from the party. Some very long-running Democrats saying the congressman is clearly an anti-Semitic. The Anti-Defamation League, a top Jewish civil rights organization, similarly called on the DNC to disqualify Ellison for his anti-Semitic statements. Party leaders refused to disqualify Ellison, and Tom Perez's first act as DNC was to name Ellison his number 2. That tells you anything of what they think. Democrats are, and I still don't understand it. As much as the Democrat Party is anti-Jews, the Jews vote for him, and it doesn't make sense to me. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians, a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, clues to the clueless. Sackheads Sean, Sackheads Clint, and Sackheads BZ. The Sackheads Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern on shrmedia.com. Watch on YouTube, Facebook, and the High Plains Pundit Network. The best in late-night conservative talk. The Sackheads Radio Show, only on the SHR Media Network.
Go ahead, I'll say it.
Some of the best A-roll is going to be evil.
Like, what are you talking about? That's the last question that you really cut a couple seconds. Yeah, I'm a freaking artist. I can't just come up with this shit off the top of my head. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Good point. Exactly right. Oh, God.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the unpleasant blind guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Sam on SHR Media. You can listen to my new show starting on Tuesdays in January. Get my perspective on national politics, a conservative's perspective on California politics, the latest in the war on terror, all of that and a lot more here on Tuesdays at SHR Media. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Sam_SHR Media.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver Common Sense Show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint, and I'm with Sackhead Sean, Sackhead BZ. No communists allowed on the SHR Media Network.
Damn straight, mister.
Back to the show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Pay no attention to the muffled screams in the background. You are listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on the SHR Media Network. Back to you, Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make senseless. Don't forget, coming up top of the hour, about, 14 minutes, will be BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, hosted by, of course, BZ himself. I'm in the middle of making two great canes right now, and actually changing the design on the one. So I need to find I need aspen wood. I don't know where to find it. So you go to Google, as much as I hate Google. Of course, there's apartments around here, close to that name. Just my like. Let me take a look at something real quick. Doesn't seem to show. All right, liberal leaders. It's kind of funny. Washington liberal establishment suddenly is running away from the Democratic Party's Russia dossier, which for months was fodder for Democrats to hurl charges against President Trump and his campaign. A new liberal narrative has arisen from Representative Devin Nunes, chairman of House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, launched a probe to find out who funded the salacious, unverified dossier and how the FBI used it against Trump people. Mr. Nunes, California Republican, flushed out in federal court that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democrat National Committee funded the dossier, moving money to a law firm and then to opposition research for Fusion GPS. Fusion then paid British ex-spy Christopher Steele, who in turn paid his Kremlin sources. Next, the committee learned that the FBI has been unable to confirm any of the dossier's core Trump-Russia collusion charges 17 months after it began receiving Mr. Steele's memos. Since then, liberals have been demoting the dossier. Last week, the New York Times published a report asserting that the dossier never triggered the collusion probe, now being conducted by 3 congressional committees and a special counsel, Robert Mueller. Instead, the Times said the probe was sparked by former Trump campaign volunteer George Papadopoulos bragging in a London bar that he had heard Russia had thousands of Clinton emails. This report contradicts a lengthy story the Times ran in April of 2017. That story said another Trump volunteer, Carter Page, was a catalyst for the probe by giving a public speech in Moscow in July of 2016. The story did not mention any other Trump campaign figures. Mr. Page's trip was noted by Mr. Steele, who made bribery charges against the energy investor in the dossier. Mr. Page has denied meeting with Kremlin figures identified by Mr. Steele, and there is no public evidence to support the bribery charge. Congressional sources speculated that FBI supporters are pushing the Papadopoulos narrative to draw attention from the Bureau's reliance on the dossier. Downplaying the dossier now seems to be a liberal talking point. You know, I remember when it was Al Franken, when it came out, they were talking with Jeff Sessions. What the hell is that called? Damn it, my mind is totally blank today. But when he was going for the Attorney General, and that got brought up, oh my God, they went after Sessions saying he lied because he didn't know certain things in this dossier, what the dossier said happened. So now all of a sudden it's, oh, no, the dossier had nothing. When anybody would have said eyes, and this is what I don't understand about Democrats. Yes, there is some people dumb enough that fall for it, but a lot of people sit back and go, what are you talking about? You just said this a couple of weeks ago. It's on tape. They think they're back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, where you could say something and change your statement, and there wasn't an internet to go Google it. As much as I don't like Google, Google can be useful. Representative Jim Himes, Connecticut Democrat and House Intel Committee member, said Wednesday on CNN, there may very well be errors in the dossier. It is not finished intelligence. It is a collection of information that would not pass mustered with the CIA or the FBI, but there are still very many open questions about some of the allegations in that dossier. But the point is, of course, the FBI did not rely exclusively on that dossier in order to open the investigation. Makes me wonder. Really does. Do they think we're that dumb? I think they do. That's the sad point. Now, CNN has been one of the dossier's biggest journalistic boosters, writing that some of its charges have been verified but not providing exact details of who, when, or where. Mr. Himes downplaying stands in contrast to how several of his colleagues embraced the document, especially at a March 2017 House Intel hearing. The committee's ranking Democrat Representative Adam Schiff of California, that fucking douchebag, read its charges into the record and praised Mr. Steele. Another Democrat seemed to endorse the salacious dossier charge that Mr. Trump met with prostitutes at a Moscow Ritz-Carlton in 2013. A Representative Jacqueline Castro, a Texas Democrat, vouched for Mr. Steele. The reputation of the author, Christopher Steele, is a former accomplished British intelligence officer with a career built on following Russia is important. This is not someone who doesn't know how to run a source and not someone without contacts. The allegation it raises about President Trump's campaign aides' connections to Russia, when overlaid with known established facts and timelines from the 2016 campaign, are very revealing, Mr. Castro said. He added, the dossier definitely seems right on these points. A quid pro quo relation seems to exist between the Trump campaign and President Vladimir Putin, Russia. Congressional sources say that rather than a single trigger, there were likely a confluence of events that prompted the FBI to start its counterintelligence probe in late July 2016. One event would be the fact that on July 22nd, WikiLeaks began releasing thousands of Democrat Party emails. The dump came a month after the DNC said it had been hacked by Russians. All right, I want to sneak in one last article real quick, and then I got to get going, so it's going to be a quick exit for us. ICE director came out and had a few words, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. All you have to do is under Section U.S. Code 1324, as he says, in an interview with a Fox News channel, Neil Cavuto, on Tuesday, Immigration and Custom Enforcement Director Thomas Homan said the federal government should consider charging politicians who enact sanctuary city laws to protect criminal illegal aliens with crimes. 1324 states Jeff Sessions has the right. With that, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. Peace. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.